All right, Larry Kruger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er update. And of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. Two locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in both spots from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Get some brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you. And this video brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check the link in the description. Use the promo code Krug, K-R-U-E-G, and they'll match you up to your first $100. All right. The story today, the report is that Christian McCaffrey is going to report to mandatory minicamp. McCaffrey will join Deebo Samuel and all of his Niner teammates on the field. The Niners will still be without George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk probably for the next couple of days, according to the reports. The 49ers at the OTAs, the voluntary OTAs, there was no CMC. But this week is the mandatory OTAs, and that means that the Niners are set to take the field today and tomorrow, and then they take a hiatus until training camp begins at the end of July. So these are the final tune-up practices for training camp, and then once training camp practices begin, once practice begins today at OTAs, I should say, Christian McCaffrey, big number 23, is going to be there. According to Eric Branch of the Chronicle and Matt Mayoko of NBC Sports Bay Area, they both have tweeted that CMC has reported to the mandatory minicamp for the next couple of days and will be in attendance. So, George Kittle still recovering from surgery to a core muscle injury that he had in the offseason. Brandon Ayuk's absence is going to continue most likely into training camp unless the Niners and him strike a deal. He's not going to hit the field again without a contract, but CMC will be there. So this kind of puts to rest, at least, that there are serious concerns or issues between that CMC has with his contract. And I would have been really, really surprised if he didn't show up for minicamp. Why? Well, let's look at Christian McCaffrey and what he is. I mean, he's one of the leaders on the team. Last year, I thought he was the tone setter on the practice field. He's 28 years old. He's the fifth highest paid Niner. The only guys that have higher cap hits this year than CMC on the 49ers are Trent Williams at $31.5 million, Deebo Samuel at $28.6 million, Mooney Ward at $18.4 million, Nick Bosa at $14.6 million, and then McCaffrey checks in at number 5 at 14.1, slightly above Brandon Ayuk, who's also sitting there at 14.1. So he's got a pretty good contract right now. The cap hit percentage for McCaffrey's 5.54%. And he's not a free agent until 2026. He is NFL's highest paid running back. It's over $16 million. And, I would have surprised me if he would have held out. There's no guaranteed money left on his contract, but so what? It was a contract that he signed that the Niners inherited and have paid every penny of. They've treated him like the star that he is. He's being paid a handsome sum. Would it be better for McCaffrey if the Niners gave him a brand new extension with new guaranteed money? Yeah. But if you're the 49ers, you got a $50 million quarterback to pay next year. You've got, two receivers that could make north of $60 million combined. You probably, in the best interest of your team, should do right by your team and just kind of let McCaffrey play it out. And if you get Ayuk signed and you've got some extra cap room and you want to extend him and throw him some extra dollars, you could do that. But really, you probably want to preserve your flexibility going forward and see what kind of year McCaffrey has. Running backs don't last forever. And he's coming off a year where he had 339 touches. That's a lot of touches. It's not Earl Campbell in the late 70s, early 80s under Bum Phillips, but it's close. I mean, the Niners are using Christian McCaffrey a ton. And so if they're going to have that kind of heavy usage, they probably want to, probably take their time as far as the contract, because, if you're going to use your running backs that heavily, there's a chance if you extend them that you could get stuck with paying big dollars to a running back who's not healthy. So How will they play their hand with Christian McCaffrey? I'm not sure. But my guess is they're going to say, hey, he's handsomely compensated. We'll take care of him when the time's right, but that time's not now. That would be my guess. But that's like the big story. That was going to be the big story today going into minicamp. Was Christian McCaffrey there? If McCaffrey didn't show up, it would be like, okay, now what's the deal? Okay, now not only is Brandon Ayuk looking for a new deal and unhappy, but now Christian McCaffrey is looking for a new deal and he's unhappy. So I think overall it's great news for the 49ers that McCaffrey's planning to report to the mandatory minicamp today and tomorrow. As I said, they'll still be without Kittle. They'll still be without Ayuk, but we will see Debo out there. We will see CMC. And that should put to rest any rumors about CMC being unhappy about his deal. But who knows? We'll see what he says if he's asked about his contract or if we get a chance to talk to him. But there will be a Christian McCaffrey sighting in Santa Clara today. He is planning on showing up and being in Santa Clara, and that's good news. That's good news for the 49ers. McCaffrey is one of the great players in the NFL. He's coming off a terrific year. And, this is a guy who, you absolutely have to have. You have to have him. He's a key cog for the 49ers any way you slice it. He's one of their best weapons as a runner, as a receiver. He carries out blocks. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is you look at the year that he had this year, it was a tremendous all-around year. He played 16 games, 272 carries, 459 rush yards, averaged 5.4 a carry on the season. That is absolutely fantastic. And 14 rushing touchdowns. Averaged over 91 yards per game, fumbled twice on the year in the regular season, once in the Super Bowl. Obviously, that fumble in the Super Bowl haunts him to some degree. We'll find out more about to what degree it haunts him when we get a chance to talk to him. But he also caught 67 balls as a receiver, on 83 targets, 564 yards, and 7 more touchdowns. So, this guy is a receiving threat. He carries out play fakes when he's playing away from the ball. I thought the most interesting comment from Shanahan about McCaffrey last year was when I asked him about McCaffrey's block or his play fake that he carried out on the backside on the tunnel screen in the Eagle game that went to Deebo Samuel, and he took it to the house. And Shanahan, when describing CMC, called him the best player he's ever seen away from the ball. So what he means is when the ball is not coming to him, he's the best player he's ever been around in the NFL when the ball is going to somebody else. And he's just there to carry out, play fake or something on the backside. That shows you the level of professionalism that a guy like CMC brings to the table. So great news that he will be in Santa Clara today with the 49ers. All right, that does it for the video. Thanks to Pig and the Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. Check the link in the description. Use that promo code Krug, K-R-U-E-G, and they'll match you up to your first $100. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.